What if one simple food sitting in your kitchen right now could quietly help you live longer? Most people ignore it every single day. But the research is clear. Eat this consistently, and your body starts changing in ways that may add healthy years to your life starting right now. Here's the thing, longevity is rarely about expensive supplements or complicated routines. Often it comes down to one powerful daily habit. When your body starts responding in these specific ways, you know you're on the right track. When your energy finally feels steady from morning to night, your body is telling you something important. This is one of the earliest and most reliable signals that your metabolism is starting to work with you instead of against you. Most people today are stuck on an energy roller coaster. They wake up tired, depend on caffeine to function, crash in the afternoon, and then reach for sugar just to survive the rest of the day. That constant up and down pattern is not normal. It is usually a sign that blood sugar is swinging too high and then dropping too low. Every spike forces your body to release insulin. Every crash leaves your cells starved for fuel. Over time, this creates fatigue, cravings, brain fog, and stubborn weight gain. The body becomes reactive instead of stable. When you begin eating the right food daily, something different starts to happen inside your cells. Your body shifts toward more stable fuel use. Instead of burning fast sugar that disappears quickly, it begins relying more on steady, slow-burning energy. This is where the magic starts. You may first notice it in the morning. Instead of dragging yourself out of bed, you feel more clear-headed, your eyes open easier, your body feels lighter. That heavy, groggy feeling begins to fade. This happens because your blood sugar stayed more stable overnight and your hormones are starting to rebalance. By mid-morning, another change often appears. Normally, many people start reaching for coffee number 2 or a quick snack. But now, the urgency is lower. You can focus longer without constantly thinking about food. This is a powerful metabolic signal. It means your body is accessing fuel more efficiently and not panicking between meals. In the afternoon, this becomes even more obvious. The classic 2-3 p.m. crash starts to soften or disappear. Instead of feeling like someone pulled the plug on your energy, you remain more level. You may still feel naturally tired later in the day, which is normal, but the sharp drop in energy becomes much less dramatic. What is happening behind the scenes is very interesting. Stable daily nutrition helps improve insulin sensitivity. When your cells respond better to insulin, glucose moves into the cells more smoothly instead of lingering in the bloodstream. This reduces the extreme highs and lows that create fatigue cycles. At the same time, your body becomes better at tapping into stored fat for backup fuel, which provides a more consistent energy supply. Your hormones also begin to calm down. Cortisol, the stress hormone, tends to spike when blood sugar crashes. Frequent crashes keep cortisol elevated, which makes you feel wired but tired. As your energy stabilizes, cortisol patterns often become more balanced. Many people notice they feel calmer, less jittery, and more in control of their appetite. Another subtle but important shift is in your brain. The brain is extremely sensitive to blood sugar swings. When levels are unstable, concentration suffers. When fuel becomes steady, mental clarity improves. You may notice you can read longer, think more clearly, or stay engaged in conversations without that familiar mental fog drifting in. Your muscles feel the difference too. Instead of feeling weak or shaky between meals, physical stamina improves. Walking, working, or exercising may start to feel smoother. This is because your cells are receiving a more reliable stream of energy rather than short bursts followed by deficits. It is important to understand that this change does not usually happen overnight. For many people, the first improvements appear within days, but deeper metabolic stability builds over weeks of consistent daily habits. The key is repetition. The body loves consistency, and it responds best when you give it the same supportive input day after day. One mistake people make is assuming they need more stimulants when they feel tired. In reality, Most chronic fatigue patterns are not caused by a lack of caffeine. They are caused by unstable fuel delivery inside the body. When you correct the fuel problem, the dependence on stimulants often naturally decreases. Pay close attention to your daily patterns. If you notice fewer crashes, longer steady focus, and less desperation for quick sugar fixes, your body is giving you valuable feedback. These are early green lights that your metabolism is becoming more flexible and resilient. This is one of the clearest signals that your daily nutrition is finally starting to support long-term health rather than quietly draining your energy reserves. When your waistline slowly begins to tighten, even before the scale changes much, your body is revealing a powerful internal shift. This is one of the most encouraging early signs that your metabolism is becoming more efficient. Many people focus only on weight, but your waist measurement often tells the real story first. Stubborn belly fat is rarely just about calories. It is strongly influenced by hormones, especially insulin. When insulin stays elevated too often, the body is pushed into fat storage mode. This makes it extremely difficult to tap into stored fat, no matter how hard someone tries to eat less and move more. The body is simply following hormonal instructions. When you start eating the right food daily, one of the first internal changes is improved insulin control. Instead of repeated spikes throughout the day, insulin begins to rise and fall more appropriately. This matters because lower, more stable insulin levels make it easier for your body to access stored fat between meals. At first, the changes may be subtle. Your clothes might fit slightly looser around the midsection. The waistband that once felt tight in the afternoon may feel more comfortable. You may notice less bloating after meals. These small shifts are often the earliest external clues that your body is moving away from constant fat storage. Over time, your body becomes more metabolically flexible. That means it can switch more easily between burning incoming food and burning stored fat. Most people today are stuck in sugar-burning mode. Their bodies rely heavily on quick glucose for energy and struggle to tap into fat reserves. When metabolic flexibility improves, fat burning becomes more accessible during the natural gaps between meals. Another key factor is appetite regulation. When the body receives more stable nourishment, hunger hormones like ghrelin tend to calm down. At the same time, satiety signals such as leptin begin working more effectively. This combination often leads to eating more appropriate portions without feeling deprived. You are not forcing yourself to eat less. Your body is simply asking for what it actually needs. Chronic inflammation around the abdominal area can also begin to decrease. Excess visceral fat, the deeper fat around the organs, is metabolically active and linked with higher inflammation. As your body becomes more efficient at managing fuel, this type of fat often becomes easier to mobilize. The process is gradual, but it is meaningful. Water retention is another hidden piece of the puzzle. Many people carry extra fluid due to high insulin levels and frequent processed food intake. When daily nutrition improves, the body often releases some of this excess water. This can create an early tightening effect around the waist even before significant fat loss occurs. Sleep quality also plays a quiet but powerful role. Better metabolic balance often supports more stable blood sugar overnight. When nighttime blood sugar swings decrease, sleep tends to become deeper and more restorative. Improved sleep helps regulate appetite hormones and stress hormones, both of which strongly influence abdominal fat storage. Stress matters too. Chronically elevated cortisol encourages fat storage around the midsection. When your daily nutrition becomes more stabilizing, cortisol patterns often become less erratic. Many people report feeling less wired and less prone to stress-driven snacking. This hormonal calm supports gradual waistline improvement over time. It is important to set realistic expectations. The waistline usually tightens slowly, not dramatically overnight. Sustainable change is typically measured in weeks and months, not days. Quick, Extreme drops often come from water shifts or aggressive dieting that the body cannot maintain. The goal is steady metabolic improvement that the body can comfortably sustain. Consistency is the real driver here. Eating the supportive food once in a while will not create meaningful change. The body responds to patterns. When the same beneficial input shows up day after day, the internal machinery begins to recalibrate. Insulin signaling improves. Fat-burning enzymes become more active. Hunger signals become more trustworthy. Pay attention to non-scale victories. Looser clothing, reduced bloating, improved posture, and a flatter feeling around the midsection are all valuable feedback signals. These changes often appear before major weight shifts and usually indicate that deeper metabolic improvements are already underway. When your waistline begins tightening naturally without extreme restriction or constant hunger, it is often a sign that your body is finally working in your favor instead of quietly storing energy for a future that never comes. When your cravings start fading, your body is sending one of the clearest signals that your internal chemistry is improving. Constant cravings are not just about weak willpower. Most of the time, they are driven by unstable blood sugar, hormone imbalances, and a brain that is being pushed into seeking quick energy fixes over and over again. Many people live in a near constant loop of wanting something sweet or salty. They finish a meal and still feel unsatisfied. They promise themselves they will cut back, but by mid-afternoon the urge hits again. This pattern usually has very little to do with discipline. It is often the predictable result of how the body is being fueled throughout the day. When daily nutrition becomes more balanced, the first quiet change often shows up in appetite signals. Meals begin to feel more complete. Instead of thinking about snacks an hour later, you stay satisfied longer. This happens because your body is finally receiving the types of nutrients that trigger proper satiety signaling. Blood sugar stability plays a major role here. Rapid spikes in blood sugar are usually followed by sharp drops. When glucose falls quickly, the brain interprets this as an urgent need for fuel. That is when powerful cravings appear, especially for fast, digesting carbohydrates and sugary foods. It is the body's emergency response system trying to correct the drop as quickly as possible. As your daily eating pattern becomes more supportive, these spikes and crashes begin to smooth out. Glucose rises more gradually and falls more gently. Without the dramatic dips, the brain does not trigger the same emergency hunger signals. Cravings begin to lose their intensity. Insulin also becomes more cooperative. When insulin is constantly elevated, fat burning is suppressed and energy delivery becomes less flexible. The body starts relying heavily on frequent food intake to maintain energy. When insulin patterns improve, your body becomes better at accessing stored fuel between meals. This creates a natural buffer against sudden hunger waves. Another important shift happens in the hunger hormone ghrelin. Ghrelin is often called the "I'm hungry" signal. When eating patterns are chaotic or heavily processed, ghrelin can spike more frequently and more aggressively. With consistent, balanced daily nutrition, ghrelin rhythms tend to normalize. Hunger still appears, and it should, but it feels more calm and predictable instead of urgent and demanding. Leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, also benefits from this shift. When the body is under constant metabolic stress, leptin signaling can become less effective. You eat, but the brain does not fully register satisfaction. As metabolic health improves, leptin communication often becomes clearer. Meals feel more complete, and the mental chatter about food begins to quiet down. Your brain chemistry may also begin to stabilize. Highly processed foods and repeated sugar spikes can overstimulate dopamine pathways, training the brain to seek intense, fast rewards from food. When daily nutrition becomes more stable and less extreme, dopamine signaling often becomes less erratic. Food still tastes good, but the compulsive pull weakens. Many people notice this change in very practical ways. The candy bowl becomes easier to ignore. Late night snacking urges decrease. Grocery shopping becomes less impulsive. You can walk past certain foods without feeling that magnetic pull in your chest. This is not about forcing control. It is about the body no longer sending constant emergency signals. Stress reduction also contributes. When cortisol runs high, the body often pushes for quick energy sources, especially sugary or high-carb comfort foods. As daily nutrition supports more stable energy and hormone patterns, cortisol swings often soften. Emotional eating triggers may still appear occasionally, that is human, but they usually feel less overwhelming. It is important to understand that cravings do not disappear completely, and they should not. Healthy hunger and occasional desire for enjoyable foods are normal parts of human biology. What changes is the intensity, frequency, and urgency. The difference between a gentle preference and a powerful compulsion is enormous. Consistency, again, is the key driver. One balanced day will not fully reset craving patterns that have been building for years. But steady, repeated support allows the body's signaling systems to recalibrate. Over time, many people are surprised to realize they simply think about food less often throughout the day. When cravings begin fading naturally, without knuckling your way through the day, it is often one of the strongest signs that your metabolism, hormones, and brain chemistry are finally moving back toward a more balanced state. When your digestion becomes smoother, your body is often signaling that deeper systems are finally starting to work in harmony. Many people accept bloating, heaviness, gas, or irregular bathroom patterns as normal. But these are usually signs that the digestive process is under stress or not operating efficiently. Your digestive system is not just about breaking down food. It is closely connected to your metabolism, immune system, hormone balance, and even your energy levels. When digestion improves, it often reflects broader internal stability. That is why this sign is so important to watch. One of the first changes many people notice is reduced bloating after meals. Instead of feeling tight or swollen in the stomach, the abdomen feels calmer and flatter. This often happens because food is being broken down more effectively and moving through the digestive tract at a healthier pace. Less fermentation and gas buildup means less pressure and discomfort. Stomach heaviness after eating may also begin to fade. That uncomfortable, food just sitting there, feeling is often linked to sluggish digestion or meals that spike blood sugar too aggressively. When daily nutrition becomes more supportive, stomach emptying and enzyme activity often improve. Meals feel satisfying but not overwhelming. Regularity is another major clue. When the body is receiving consistent nourishment and hydration, bowel movements often become more predictable and comfortable. This does not mean perfection every single day, but the overall pattern becomes steadier. The body likes rhythm, and digestion thrives on consistency. Behind the scenes, your gut microbiome may also be shifting in a positive direction. The trillions of bacteria living in your digestive tract respond strongly to what you eat every day. When your daily food pattern supports beneficial bacteria, they produce compounds that help maintain the gut lining, support immune balance, and assist with nutrient absorption. Improved gut balance can reduce excess gas production and support smoother digestion overall. Many people notice fewer random stomach noises, less urgency after meals, and a general sense that their stomach feels more settled throughout the day. These are subtle but meaningful signals. Inflammation inside the digestive tract may also begin to calm down. Highly processed foods and unstable blood sugar can contribute to irritation in the gut lining. When daily nutrition becomes more stable and supportive, the digestive environment often becomes less reactive. This can translate into less sensitivity after eating certain foods. Another quiet improvement often appears in nutrient absorption. When digestion is inefficient, even nutritious meals may not be fully utilized by the body. As digestive function improves, the body can extract vitamins, minerals, and amino acids more effectively. Over time, this supports better energy, skin health, and overall resilience. The connection between digestion and the nervous system is also important. Your gut and brain communicate constantly through the gut-brain axis. When digestion is stressed, it can increase feelings of discomfort, irritability, or mental fog. As digestion becomes smoother, many people notice they feel calmer after meals and more mentally clear. Blood sugar stability plays a role here as well. Large swings in blood sugar can slow digestion and contribute to that heavy, sluggish feeling after eating. When meals support more gradual glucose changes, the digestive process often becomes more efficient and comfortable. Hydration patterns often improve naturally too. Many supportive daily foods contain water and electrolytes that help maintain proper fluid balance in the digestive tract. Adequate hydration supports stool consistency and helps food move smoothly through the intestines. This is one reason why digestive comfort often improves alongside better daily nutrition. It is important to remember that the digestive system may take time to fully adjust. If someone has experienced years of irregular eating patterns or highly processed foods, the gut environment does not reset overnight. Gradual, consistent improvement is the goal. Sudden extreme changes can sometimes create temporary discomfort before things stabilize. Pay attention to the small wins, less bloating after meals, a calmer stomach in the evening, more predictable bathroom patterns. These are valuable feedback signals that your digestive system is becoming more efficient and less stressed. When your digestion feels smooth, quiet, and reliable most days, it is often a strong indication that your daily nutrition is supporting not just your gut, but your overall metabolic health in a meaningful and sustainable way. When your focus starts feeling sharper, your body and brain are telling you something powerful has shifted. Mental clarity is one of the fastest systems to respond when your daily nutrition begins supporting stable energy and balanced blood sugar. Many people think brain fog is just part of getting older or being busy. Often, it is metabolic. Your brain is extremely sensitive to fuel quality and delivery. Even small swings in blood sugar can affect concentration, memory, and mental stamina. When glucose spikes too high and then drops too fast, the brain experiences a temporary energy shortage. That is when you feel foggy, distracted, or mentally slow. Most people live with these fluctuations all day long. They start the morning reasonably clear, then slowly lose focus by late morning. After lunch, the famous mental slump hits. Words come slower. Motivation drops. Tasks feel heavier than they should. This pattern is very common, but it is not inevitable. When daily nutrition becomes more supportive, one of the first noticeable improvements is smoother mental energy. Instead of sharp highs and lows, the brain begins receiving a more steady fuel supply. This allows neurotransmitters to function more consistently, which directly affects attention and clarity. You may first notice it during simple tasks. Reading becomes easier. You can stay with a paragraph without rereading it 3 times. Conversations feel more fluid because your brain is keeping up in real time. These small wins are often early signs that your metabolic stability is improving. Midday is where the difference often becomes dramatic. Many people expect to feel mentally drained after lunch, but when blood sugar swings are reduced, that heavy afternoon fog often softens. You remain more alert and engaged through the second half of the day. Work feels smoother instead of forced. There is also a strong connection between insulin sensitivity and brain performance. When the body handles glucose efficiently, the brain receives a more reliable energy stream. When insulin resistance is present, fuel delivery becomes less predictable. Supporting better insulin function often supports clearer thinking over time. Inflammation plays a role too. Chronic low-grade inflammation can interfere with normal brain signaling and contribute to mental fatigue. Certain daily nutrition patterns help calm this background inflammation, which may support better cognitive comfort. The change is usually subtle at first, but builds steadily with consistency. Your sleep quality quietly contributes to this process as well. More stable blood sugar during the day often leads to fewer nighttime disturbances. When sleep becomes deeper and more restorative, the brain clears metabolic waste more effectively overnight. The next morning, you wake up mentally fresher instead of foggy. Stress hormones are another piece of the puzzle. When blood sugar crashes repeatedly, cortisol tends to spike to compensate. Chronically elevated cortisol can make the brain feel wired but unfocused. As your daily nutrition supports steadier energy, cortisol patterns often become less erratic. Many people report feeling calmer, but mentally sharper at the same time. Hydration status also improves cognitive performance. Some supportive daily foods naturally contribute fluids and electrolytes that help maintain proper cellular hydration. Even mild dehydration can reduce concentration and increase mental fatigue. When hydration improves, the brain often responds quickly. You may also notice better task endurance. Instead of needing frequent breaks to reset your mind, you can stay engaged longer. Projects that once felt mentally exhausting become more manageable. This does not mean you never feel tired, that is normal, but your baseline mental stamina becomes stronger. Another subtle shift is decision fatigue. When the brain is running on unstable fuel, even small decisions can feel overwhelming. As energy delivery becomes more reliable, mental workload often feels lighter. Planning, organizing, and problem-solving become smoother processes. It is important to keep expectations realistic. Sharper focus builds progressively with consistent daily habits. One good day of eating will not completely eliminate brain fog that has been developing for years, but steady support allows the brain's energy systems to recalibrate over time. Pay attention to the quiet improvements. Fewer moments of losing your train of thought. Better memory for small details. More consistent attention during meetings or reading. These are meaningful signals that your brain is receiving more stable support. When your focus feels naturally clear, without relying on constant caffeine or sugar boosts, it is often one of the strongest indicators that your daily nutrition is finally supporting both your metabolic health and your cognitive performance in a sustainable way.